Hello and welcome to EFAP
Hi.
Superchat Catchup Mini episode 4, and you'd expect some kind of number that's like up to date, especially definitely up to date. But this is for 206. It was brought to my attention on a stream that we may not have been covered the superchats of that episode, which would absolutely have been a mistake, not intended. And I had to look around, I couldn't find a recording for it, so it must have slipped through the cracks. But as of listening today, or I guess completing listening to this, we will have gotten to it, and that's what we're gonna do today. So this is gonna be nostalgic. We quite miss She-Hulk, don't we, guys?
Oh fuck. Yes, I enjoy She-Hulk
What a
a
great
great
show that
deal.
was.
We go way back, She-Hulk and
There will be a
all of
second
us.
season.
Yeah, we can
There
only
will
hope,
be.
of course.
I mean, we'll certainly see that character again.
She-Hulk,
assuming
yeah. Well, she was a crowd
assuming there
favorite.
isn't a second season, which would really be crazy if there wasn't.
So, well, without further ado, we're gonna just read out what you guys had to say. And remember, this is a while ago, so I think generally speaking, we're probably gonna get a different vibe, because super chats have they follow like trends somewhat. They move with the times. I wonder what everyone was talking about back here. I wonder if there's any interesting things that got said about speculation of the future that we can now look back on and laugh or cry. You know, one of those things. So, I suppose here we go.
She-Hulk did bring tears to our eyes.
Exactly.
So it fits, it checks out.
Starting with, I think it's cool that Castle Wolfenstein 1981 is one of the earliest examples of stealth in a video game.
I did not know that. I'm not actually familiar with the original Castle Wolfenstein. Now this is the... So was the original called, they said 1989, they said?
They say, hang on. Yeah,
1981.
81.
81. God, that's going back a long way. Oh, this one is this is a 2D. I did not know about this one. I legitimately, yeah, let me post like a little screenshot here. I have never heard about this game. You can tell which one the Nazi is because he has this one. He says this swastika on his chest. I have never heard of this game. I'm sure I have. I've heard of Castle Wolfenstein. I didn't know that it was
I've
this
heard
game.
this
Normally,
in
it's referred to as
passing,
the place.
but never quite known much about it, you know. Yeah, it would be interesting to see, like, tracing the earliest examples of stealth in games.
Well, yeah, because usually what you'd be pointing to is
The Last of Us.
more well, of course, because it is a citizen kane of gaming. But in terms of like the origin of 3D stealth games, usually pointing to like Metal Gear Solid or Thief the Dark Project, so late 90s.
See here. Hello, Moolah, Frings, Rags, and Rackets.
Hello.
We had Rakita Law on for talking about She-Hulk for the arc, as well as, I think, not for this episode, but Jay Longbone and Nutso are coming in and out as well. Good times. Only plays thumbnail of the day is Kirby 64. Alright.
Okay, I need to see this.
Challenge accepted.
I need this. I know I need to see this.
I shall find it. I wonder if because it's been so long, I wonder if maybe they'd sent this again sometime. We have seen it already. Well, I'll find out.
Maybe, but in any case.
he's all scraggly like a little, well, you know, like a body part.
Yeah.
I like him. He's so unamused.
Doesn't like getting pointed at. Or pointed in.
No,
Beautiful.
Kirby isn't made sad. Usually you
He's
don't
got
see Kirby sad, but this is one instance where he is.
He's got a long finger in the bottom left, whoever that is. I don't know the cast, but that's a long-fingered guy.
And all the better to poke Kirby's with, I guess.
Oh, Kirby's with, yeah, that's right.
Nicky Rackets and the Long Man together at last. Oh, I guess this was the first episode we had Nick on. Crazy times back then. Oh wait. Marvel knows what they're doing with She-Hulk's delicious big and green feet. Okay.
I remember this guy.
I think I was
This
about to
guy,
say. I
I
think
haven't
I remember
forgotten.
these actually.
He
Hey,
likes those
Molly.
big green She-Hulk feet. You know,
Yeah.
that's what he likes. I imagine that his ideal porn is essentially like She-Hulk and the Jolly Green Giant, just like rubbing feet together. That's just what they do, and he just loves it. He's all about it.
You know what? That's okay if he doesn't need a super chat about it though. Go that to yourself. It's time for the unbreaded. I believe these were references to other stream memes, which we're more than familiar with providing out of context stream memes to other streams. Hey, Fringy, remember when you equated eating behind to chewing gum, you little scamp?
Eating what?
Eating
You
behind.
equated eating behind to chewing gum. I don't remember any of this.
I don't know what eating behind.
Are they?
Like, I'm not,
Well,
what
Well,
do they mean
is
ass?
that
Like an
I
ass?
figure, yeah.
Fringy's an ass eater.
I just don't think
likes
Freeze
that sounds like
really
something. Yeah,
provide
that
a
sounds like
commentary on
something that
that.
was just made up.
You saying it's fake news?
He just dives in.
Yeah,
He
fake
likes it
news.
almost as much as She-Hulk's big green.
Oh my.
feet.
Jesus.
It's green. It reminds him of himself because it's green.
Oh, that totally makes sense. Been going through the archive of videos, gameplays, and EFAPs. I look forward to another installment of EFAPpening. Wait, do you mean like the meme faps or something else? Yeah, I don't think we ever had one called that, but you know, maybe someday, I guess. While Rakita is here, have him ask you the question. He knows what it is. Well, maybe that happened. It's been so long, I cannot remember. Whatever the question.
Very possible.
Hey, Molly, you should finish unedited footage of a bear. Scary allegories. Unedited footage of a bear. For some reason that blocks a memory, but don't remember exactly of what. But there we are. Hail to the EFAP crew and the Big Nose Lawyer. Hopefully the first of many collabs. Well, we did the She-Hulk arc. It was so fun while it lasted.
Unedited footage of a bear is a 2014 short created by Alan Resnick and Wham City Comedy that aired as a part of the infomercial series on Adult Swim. The short, you know what? I might just watch it instead of read about what it is. 2014 Adult Swim stuff could be good. Could be absurdist, esoteric, but yeah, I can take a look at that later.
All right.
Unedited footage of a bear.
Finally moved down to East Florida from Washington State, and the first bad hurricane to hit East Florida in 100 years hits. Why is life poorly written? I know, right? These insane coincidences. Thanks, Jeebus. You gotta sue the writers at this point, basically.
But you say that he's like the one figuring out, like, all right, when am I these coincidences? He's like looking for them to see, like, oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and he
That'll
probably be
make
like,
me
I ran
think.
out of time. What? Like, I'd like to see you write it better. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gee. Clearly hit a nerve there, Jesus. Kylo out. Ryan Gosling is in talks for Doctor Doom. Thoughts? Well,
I'm looking forward to Ryan Gosling being Doctor Doom. I think that it would be an interesting casting, but you know, he's a talented actor, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Would that
They'd
have
be a
been
fool to
better
pick
or
anybody
worse?
else.
That's the question.
Oh, definitely better. I mean, who else would they choose? Who else could there possibly be?
Ryan Gosling as Doom seems kind of amusing to me, but I mean, you know, there's no reason why he can't. He's quite a versatile actor, so. But the thing is, I'm kind of with a lot of other people. It's just like, why are we doing just whoever's most famous right now? Ooh. Okay, what do you got? Hello to everyone. Keep up the great work. Hello, doggo.
Oh, hey there.
Hey, duty. Speaking of Hugh Jackman, supposedly he's reprising his role as Wolverine, proving he can't be recast. He sure did reprise it.
Yeah, that was the thing.
A lot of you guys loved it.
Yeah, well, Plenty. The whole world arguably loved it broadly.
I mean, at least in terms of the one metric that matters most to Disney, the world loved it.
Yeah, and it was like a shot of adrenaline for the corpse that is Marvel.
Didn't really translate to the stuff that came afterward, though, did it?
I don't think anyone would have expected necessarily that, but it's still a win for him, even if.
I guess, yeah, it was definitely 2024 was a good year for Disney. They made a lot of money.
Yeah, and it was nice when these things were just rumors instead of the truth. Much like a lot of people, not fond of him coming back. I thought that we did an exit, but okay, fair enough. He's Deadpool Wolverine isn't even close to the end. We've got way more to go. Today is Wednesday, September 18, 2022. Mola, when are you going to have Nick on? Do you hate him? Well, it can't be Rakita because he was on the episode you sent that. And if you're talking about Nick Diorio, well,
Boy, you're in luck.
Yeah, the future has such fun for you. Where are we? This is a bit more difficult to track, so I have to do this with the actual episode screen, if you know what I mean. Like, I couldn't get these from the backlog. They have to be taken from the episode themselves.
Sure.
I'm still on 204, busy with work. Hi, Rags.
Hello.
All right. Catch up whenever you want. She-Hulk is a bad show, but those feet, damn. All right.
Something to think about. Something to think about, those feet.
They continue. Imagine them bursting through her shoes and tell me that isn't super hot. Right.
I think that's probably bad. She should get shoes that are appropriately sized for her feet.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Oi, Froggo, how's Stray been treating you recently? Have the dingoes ceased their raids on the frontier populace? Are the emus holding to the treaty?
I mean, so far there hasn't been any. It's you could say it's like a tenuous situation, but no sort of flashpoints yet. So you just one day at a time.
Uneasy people, but unnecessary. Hound me, Big Daddy Mauler, in quotes from, according to the super chat, Nick Rakita, which, you know what? Fair enough. Not going to judge anybody for feeling they need to say that, I guess. Would you rather Wii or XD?
I think I'd rather XD. Squee sounds really unpleasant.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to
Like,
agree,
it sounds
actually.
good. Like, oh, if you squee,
Well, yeah,
it's like you're
'cause
trying
XD
too
just
hard.
means you're happy and you're laughing.
Yeah.
Oh
That's cool. I
my,
like that.
this is a throwback. Lord Longbong of Mutington Abbey. Is there any good chance for Kong Fap of Peter Jackson's Long Kong? When there's less going on, it'd be a movie fap for the ages. P.S. Hello, Wagsies. Scritches for the good boy.
Oh, thank you.
We haven't seen that message in a while.
It's been a while.
Like I said,
Definitely
nostalgic.
not forgotten, though.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what will become of that? Who knows?
John Boy Media did a lip read for the Deadpool teaser. All right, fair enough. Lawyer of the day, Nick Rakita. What a fine, happy super chat. That's super. How wonderful. Hosting this disloyal shyster lawyer, sue. Huh. I think that's supposed to be a fun joke. I don't know if that same thing would be said these days or not in a different context. Who can say?
I can't say. I wouldn't know.
The nose knows. Oh, I get it.
Oh.
What an unbreaded wed. Hey, Mola Rags, Fringy, Nick, thank you for watching She-Hulk so I didn't have to, doing God's work. Hey man, a lot of people are very happy there wasn't a season 2, and not because they loved the show, but because covering
Why would they
it.
be happy?
They enjoyed covering it.
Oh, right. Because I was about to say, if you didn't like the show,
lot of people
that's good news.
A lot of people take great joy in our suffering.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people enjoy suffering too, apparently. So it's
masochists, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, for the record, we are not.
Oh.
So that's what you're here for. Sorry.
Yeah, we're a
it's not.
variety
If we
show.
could, we would have all the stuff we watch be good. But We don't have that kind of power, unfortunately.
No, we're working on it with our science team though, and
It's the science
wizards.
team.
Are they making any progress?
They said that like we should see something in either 1 or 3 decades. Definitely not 2.
Okay. Right, okay.
I mean, you can call that progress, I guess. The big plan, of course, is to try and do it retroactively, so they're going to go back in time and try and fix some stuff. But, you know, don't lose hope. They
Well,
might
they got
be
their
able
work
to...
cut out for them.
Yeah, there's plenty of work to do, for sure. They know. Since the rackets is on Mooper and Fringy balls or no balls, and Nick, Christmas or Halloween, these are all important things we need to know. Oh yeah, I think we were asking that question back then, I assume.
Christmas versus Halloween, that's right.
I don't know if it was done in that episode, but I hope so. Everyone on EFAP, guests and hosts are the boys. Which heroes do you think you could eliminate? The DCEU or the MCU, and which would be more justified? High rags.
Hello. Hi. So which of the characters in the boys could eliminate the DCEU? Is that what they were asking?
It's a
I mean, none of
weirdly
them,
sad
so-
question. Everyone on EFAP,
Yeah, I
guests
don't
and
even know
hosts are the boys, full stop. And then question, which
Yes.
heroes do you think could eliminate the DCU, MCU? So, I mean, you know, there's like, if you mean heroes just in general, there's plenty from all IPs because, you know, power scaling is
They
insane.
get to absurd levels, yeah.
If you're talking just from the boys, then, you know, Homeland is going to be able to wipe out a decent amount of heroes from the MCU and DC.
Sure, but like he'll hit a roadblock at some point and then lose.
Well, yeah, but the question's not wiping them all out.
Like, which one do you think? Which character would get the furthest then?
Well, I assume because this
What
person
about the
should
lady
probably
who blows
know
the people's heads up, right?
the most
Like,
powerful
wouldn't that...
being in the MCU and the DCEU is going to flatten anything the boys could produce. We're talking then.
the lady who blows up the heads, could she do that to like Darkseid?
Doubt it,
Would that
but I
work?
mean, you know, once you involve Galactus and Apocalypse and
Yeah.
other people like that, Darkseid with the maximum power shit, you know, it's like you got no chance. But you know, tiering it a bit, Homelander would get pretty far in terms of percentage of heroes, probably.
I guess so.
Even A-Train would probably do pretty well against a lot of them
These
anyway.
suits are powerful, yeah.
But no, I don't think any of them could get fully far if that's actually what the question was. And then the question of which would be more justified. You know, like DC and Marvel, you'd have to do a full assessment of the morality, I guess, or the characters of everyone and try and get an average. I guess which world would suffer more without having their heroes in it? I don't know. That's a really difficult question to answer. Glad to see this. Rakita, do you agree that Christmas is better than Halloween? Hashtag Team Christmas. Hi, Rags.
Hello.
Do not remember if he said one or the other.
I can't recall myself.
Deadpool was fun. Deadpool 2 was trash. Probably not going to watch 3. Excuse me.
Deadpool 2 is not
Deadpool
trash.
2 is not
Deadpool
trash.
2 is not trash.
How dare you?
Good movie, damn it.
Have any of you heard of a YouTuber called Sheev Talks? He made an excellent Kenobi video that you should check out if you haven't already. Would love to see him on the show sometime. Hey man, all things are possible in the future. The crazy world out there with wacky possibilities. Who knows? Obviously, there's not going to even be enough episodes, even if we 3 live to 1,000 years old, to fit all of the guests that would be great on to EFAP. But you know, never know. Hi Mootle, Real Steel 2011 for EFAP movies. It's not impossible. I just don't know what it would.
I'm not very interested. I remember seeing it and not thinking much of it at
It's
all.
a
Which
very normal film.
yeah.
You know, I just don't know what it would even fit into. What kind of arc, you know?
Oh, Sean Levi made that. Right. Okay. Yeah. Not. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I know
That
it's
doesn't
better than
surprise me.
fucking Deadpool 3. Okay.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is, but it's probably just not very interesting.
How could you say that? It's almost like you don't like him as a creator.
I don't. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be because of anything that he made recently that upset me. No.
Well, good. I would hate for you to be biased.
I'm
That would...
sure that Star Wars Starfighter is going to be a great movie.
Is that supposed to be like a
That's the
replacement for
name.
Star Wars, like Rogue Squadron? Wasn't that supposed to be a thing that they were going to
No,
make at some point?
this is set after the sequel trilogy. This is like a different thing. I think Rogue
Oh,
Squadron's just dead. Just totally dead.
What a shame, huh?
Mm.
All right.
all right. Well, I can't wait to go back to the
Dude, it actually has been
sequel to
like
the
5
sequel
years
trilogy.
because Wonder Woman 1984 that came out like a while ago, and Patty has made nothing since, and every
Yeah,
other
it's
project
strange
has now
considering how good
fallen
that movie
through.
was. You think that would have got her a lot of clout, in the film
Oh
industry.
no, Wonder Woman got her a lot of clout. Thing, Wonder Woman got it, and then there were so many projects that were coming, and they all disappeared. All of them. I think every single one is just gone. There was like 3 or 4 big ones.
She must have made something. Has she actually gotten anything out at all?
No,
Nah.
I'm not aware of a single thing that she's made in the last like 5 years.
Maybe she did have like a crisis of realizing the story she wrote was awful.
Maybe.
Oh my
And she went to
god.
like a
I
Buddhist
mean,
mountaintop
the fact that
temple to
you
Yeah.
contemplate stuff.
and even that guy's like, man, I gotta tell you, Wonder Woman 1984 did not
Well, like,
appreciate that.
yeah,
We've
he's
heard of it
been given
here.
loads of great experiences to really come back to it. That he's like, out of curiosity, like near the end of their arc, it's like, what movie was? What did you make? And then she says, "Wonder Woman 84." And he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Is that
If you
the
had told
rape
us that when
one?"
you first got here,
It's
we're
just,
gonna amend our
Jesus.
everyone allowed rule.
Yeah, she's like, I thought you said anyone could be redeemed. He's like, no, not everyone.
No, it's like most people, but we just shorten it to everybody. It's more of a slogan than an actual rule.
Like, don't you want people to try it? He's like, not you. You just you
You
don't
had your
need to.
chances.
Yeah.
Would you speaking I guess of the Starfighter, what by the way, what a terrible name. Star Wars Starfighter is
Mhm.
Yeah,
not great.
terrible, awful.
Would you rather see a Star Wars movie set in the High Republic or the sequel trilogy? Or after the sequel
Um,
trilogy or the High Republic?
I think it actually makes no difference to me
I
at
don't think I
that point.
care. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right.
Like,
I was
I
curious
mean,
because I don't know either.
I've got greater exposure, I suppose, to the sequel trilogy
I mean,
because of the sequel trilogy, but Acolyte was not a great introduction to that era, and I'm sure we'll never go back to that
spirit
era
of the
in live action.
question implies that I would naturally prefer the prequels of the OT, but I don't even know that that's true. Like,
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, is it good? That's the only
yeah,
thing that matters. If they make a good one that's set in the sequel trilogy era, I'd be shocked, but it's not impossible.
very shocked. Have any of you noticed that there's been a lot of Pinocchio content both released and upcoming? It's pretty weird. You have that bad Dutch animation, the Disney remake, Del Toro's film, and the Liza P. Souls-like game. Hey man, Pinocchio
I
is
do
having
remember
a
that.
renaissance here.
Yeah,
That's
several
what I
years
love.
ago that was kind
Yeah,
of a thing. By the way,
the Del Toro Pinocchio was great.
very good, yeah. Good
Not
shit.
seen the Disney one though.
Nope.
I was about to say that's one that just sort of came and went. It's kind of like Lady and the Tramp.
I think it was on Disney
Um,
Plus, which probably contributed to that. I think it released on Disney Plus, just like
and it's
Lady and
just
the Tramp, and then sort of came and went.
no one gave a shit, and it's probably a strength of it that no one knew about it or really
I think that was
talked about it.
Zemeckis made that one actually, the Pinocchio one. Which man, you made Back to the Future, dude.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that was a long time ago.
different time. Different time.
Yeah.
Devil fruit of the week is the castle fruit, which allows the user to become a living fortress. Would you eat this fruit? You lose the ability to swim if you do, and that includes all standing water. I don't. What does living
Living
fortress mean?
does it mean like you turn into a castle? Because I'm not very interested in that
If it
I
just,
don't
myself.
think I want to turn into
well,
a
let's answer
castle.
both. If you turn into a giant castle, no. If it makes you really strong, like Mr. Incredible strong or Superman levels of strong, then that's a little more interesting, isn't it? Because
Yeah, like the
well,
castle is more metaphoric than actual. You turn into a
and
castle,
if
and you
it
have like real
is,
estate value, and then you have to pay like the local government for the tax of the property. You have to pay property tax and income tax now.
so if it were that, There's a good chance I would actually accept that one, having super strength.
Yeah,
That one's pretty compelling.
that would be useful in pretty much all day-to-day activities.
Yeah.
That would be super useful. I rarely, I can't remember the last time I swum, but if I could have super strength, that would be super useful constantly, every day.
Yeah.
Hi, Rags.
Hello.
What is / would be your favorite revolver to own? I just bought a Taurus 856 as my first revolver, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
I don't know. I have used the uh, uh I think it's the Chiappa Rhino. I've used one of those. I think it was in 357, and it was really neat. So it has you've seen it before. Oh, we saw that it was in it was in Captain America: Brave New World. Giancarlo Esposito. He used one.
Ah.
But I shot one of these in real life in 357, and it's really nice. Because most revolvers they fire out of the top of the cylinder, the top slot in the cylinder. Um, this, I think the Mateba is another company that does it, but the Chapa Rhino is another one where it shoots from the bottom of the cylinder. So it feels different when you shoot it because the force is sort of pushing back more than upwards, and it's decently comfortable to shoot. And I think it's not bad looking. It's got that distinct kind of style to it. Those are neat. I think I wouldn't mind having one of those, but I think like an old classic like Colt Python or would probably be up there as well. I don't know that much about revolvers. I've only shot maybe several. I only have one myself, an 1895 Nagant, which is a kind of a unique design because it seals itself. It seals the barrel in the cylinder. Whenever you fire, it moves the cylinder forwards on the trigger pull, so it seals it up, which means that theoretically you could use it suppressed, which is not something you could typically do in revolvers because there's going to be that little gap there. But it'd probably be like an old, like a classic Colt Python, I would probably say, or it'd be one of these because I think they're neat and I think they're coolio.
All right. I was reading I can't remember if it was a comment section on whatever forum, but it was this comment. I think it was actually underneath one of the newer EFAP episodes, and it just said Rags thinks he knows so much about guns, but he'll just casually claim that cars aren't bulletproof when there's plenty of portions of cars that might be able to take a bullet. And someone replied to that and just said, "So cars aren't bulletproof."
Exactly. Yeah. Like that's
the
interesting
stupidest
self-thumb there
comment.
in the comments. But yeah, that was an interesting strategy there, Buckaroo. But yeah, cars aren't bulletproof. The engine block will give you the best chance of surviving. There are parts of it that are heavily bullet resistant. If I was given a chance to take cover behind a car, knowing that someone would shoot at me, regardless of what they'd be shooting at me, that would give you the best chance because of all the heavy machinery and the engine bits and just the fact that there's big blocks of metal that contain all the pistons and whatnot of the engine. But they're not, it's like walls in apartments and houses and things. Most things are just not designed to stop bullets because that never comes up. That's just never something you have to worry about in your life.
I
So
think
they're not designed to do it.
that's it's kind of I feel like more stuff now, like if a character like uses a wooden table for cover, they'll acknowledge that the bullets go through, but it will just be like miraculously it'll never hit them.
Yeah, that's always what
It'll
they do.
always
Yeah,
miss.
it'll ping through him. Which this was a complaint, by the way, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Zemo should have killed Carly Morgenthau because she
Oh my
was behind this
gosh.
tiny little table, and his gun, the bullets were stopped by the table when she took cover.
It was so unfair
He
for him
should have
because
killed her. Yeah,
he just wasn't
should have
allowed to
killed
kill her. You could see in the scene he had her,
Yep.
but the show's like, no, you can't. It's like,
No,
well,
little table. The little big table just stops the bullets. I'm like, oh.
doesn't seem fair. But oh well. At least they gave him the smashing, the soldier serum. Oh, thank goodness.
Yes. Yeah.
Got so close to ruining him. On the cusp. And you know they would want to. You know they would be like, well, he's a villain. So he's going to be a hypocrite. And you'd be like, me, take it. And then I'll use it to kill all the people who would take it. Isn't that interesting? Because he's like a hypocrite, but ultimately that's why he's a villain. Same as Walker.
That's why he deserves to be on the Thunderbolts, like Bucky.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck point they're gonna be making with that one. Since when was Yelena like an anti-hero?
Well, she was mind controlled, so
I
like
mean,
it hardly feels like you could throw
it-
that against her.
It almost feels like pointless talking about it because I don't even know what the fuck their plans are. Like I have to see the story to know what the hell that mess is gonna be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you think about it, it's like the only one that was actually a villain was oh wait, no, David Harbour, that guy, the character, he was kind of a shithead.
Well, yeah, the character
Um,
was a complete moron, and
Yeah.
but except the first scene we see him where he's like competent, remember, and careful, and then for the
Yeah.
rest of it he's just like a drunken idiot. I'm not sure what the idea was with that, but
Funny. Makes it
super
funny.
duper funny. But yes, he was just a tool for whoever was willing to let him loose,
But
basically.
Ghost was the villain, not an anti-hero. Ghost was actually just an outright bad guy.
Yeah, Ghost got bailed out, and
Yeah.
didn't have to be held responsible for the horrible things she did.
Yeah.
It's funny, if I said didn't have to be held responsible for the horrible things she did, you'd be like, sorry, you're gonna have to be
Like,
way more specific.
Wanda?
It's weird. You say that, and my mind just literally thinks of Jinx now.
Well,
so-
I was gonna say the fucking mum of the Black Widows,
Yeah,
right?
she got
Yep,
out of it totally
that's true.
unscathed. She was the worst of them all.
One of the most disgusting, horrible human beings in existence in the MCU, and nobody seems to care at all. Got away with it.
She did get away with it.
Good for her. It was all Dreykov. We don't like him. Damn you, Dreykov. Blow up with your glasses hitting the camera. That will get you.
That's what's fun.
That's what's fun. Hello, all my Ewoks. She-Wong and
Hello.
Wongs of Power have been causing my girlfriend and I massive damage every week, but your streams help ease the pain. Rings of Power and She-Hulk came out at the same time. Remember that?
Right, they did.
My God.
It
That's
was
so
a good time
rude.
for media. It was a great time for adaptations and media in general. Okay.
Do you think that maybe you should spare us a little bit there, universe? A little bit? God damn.
The universe was preparing us for 2025 AD. Okay.
You need to be inoculated. Somehow that was helpful. Okay. You've had Destiny and Sargon. Finally had someone who's both controversial and entertaining. $5 for every EFAP with Nick as a guest. Yeah, those are 3 controversial names for sure. Different reasons.
I'm sure nothing controversial has happened to any of those people that you mentioned. Okay.
What, since?
I'm sure they're
since
doing
this
fine.
time, yeah.
Or since then, I'm sure everything's going just fine.
Yeah. Mostly mundane, just casually talking about easy politics like a local tax changes or parking spaces being changed. Nice and simple stuff.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to rock the boat, you know. EFAP Umberto Eco. The author should die once he has finished writing so as to not trouble the path of the text. Yes, DeFap. My art definition is useless creative effort. Hashtag, no, sorry, if useful is something else, e.g. EDU movie, Rorschach. Did any of you follow that?
We really appreciate your patronage with super chats.
Thank
it helps
you.
the show keep going. It allows us to, make, put out more content for you, to do editing.
Appreciate it.
Lets us
A huge amount.
We really do. It really does keep it's so helpful. We
And,
do appreciate your patronage.
I oftentimes will recognize the words, just not the order they come in, and that's a failing on my part. I understand that. We do the best we can here. Hopefully, hopefully that answers your question. Harvey Birdman runs legal circles around She-Hulk. Yeah, everyone does.
I'm sure that's unironically true.
Yeah.
I'm certain it is true. That's because all of those Adult Swim shows were written by intelligent people.
Basically, yeah, like a lot. Basically, like any particularly well-regarded animated like show that came out, like 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago, were written by like super smart people. The Simpsons writers
like Space
room
Ghost,
is, like, filled with
Simpsons,
smart people. Just
uh,
overflowing with smart people who are like well-read and just know a lot in general about a variety of different subjects, like media and beyond. A lot of these shows are really, really good. They're like, I was about to say they're better than they get credit for, but I don't think that's true anymore. I think a lot of these shows do essentially get the credit that they deserve.
Yeah, there's an element of discoverability for a lot of them. Just it's whether or not you know about them. I would say that like MXC, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, is one of the cleverest like jokes per second shows ever written. But you wouldn't expect it because it's a goofy dub of Takeshi's Castle. A silly, huh?
That's interesting. Is that who does that dub?
I don't know who does it. I need to check.
Because in Britain
Because I never watched.
we had like
Yeah.
a stint of Takeshi's Castle episodes that were commentated by Craig Charles, who was on Red Dwarf and Robot Wars over here. I'm curious what the connections are, if any.
So MXC was narrated by Jamie Alcroft and John Cervenka. There were 5 seasons, 81 episodes total. Fuck me, that's awesome. It was released by executive producers. What's the company who made it? It was aired on TNN, Spike TV. Remember Spike TV? I do.
Oh God, Spike TV, the video,
Spike TV.
the Game Awards. The what was it again? The best independent game fueled by Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew, yeah.
Wait, what won that?
The meme that didn't die.
I'm not sure.
Halo
But,
3 did, right?
Well, Halo 3 is not an independent game, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was
for an indie game, yeah. Which I think they did that for the
that was
Game
the
Awards.
Game Fuel Dorito thing. Was
Yeah, that was
Halo 3. Yeah.
Jeff Keighley's, well, not his early days because he's been around for a long time at this point. His middle years, I guess, compared to because the Halo 4 Doritos Mountain Dew thing, talking about the importance of games journalism. It's like, this is so funny. Like, what? This
is indistinguishable from parody.
I think it's something that needs to kind of be highlighted again. I'm sure we've talked about it before. One of the big problems that the gaming industry has is that the press is very much like beholden to the actual like industry itself, because most people don't really give a fuck about like any of the individual outlets that are going to be getting the news. They only care about the news and the games and everything, which means that the actual like journalists themselves are much more reliant on the companies rather than being in a good position to actually like dictate anything about what the companies will do. It's a paradigm that I would say probably also exists for the film industry as well, where like nobody's particularly interested in what the random writer who works for whatever outlet says about any given film, because all of the attention is directed towards the actual company and the products that they're making. It's, I don't know, like how many, as much as people point to a Rotten Tomatoes score, how many of those people who point to that read a single one of the reviews that are listed as part of that?
Well,
Like,
I don't really do it.
Aggregate power doesn't really amount to much, right? The idea, like, well, all of the all of these outlets, when they aggregate, that has an impact. It's like, well, sure, but as individuals, it's less so. And then, of course, the fact that there's just an overlap between advertising and marketing for these products amongst companies and individuals who are meant to be reviewing the products is like, yeah. And I suppose the best part is that at least before there was ostensibly a barrier between editorial and like commercial, like within these companies, but now with individual YouTubers, the individual YouTubers getting flying out to press events to play a game. God, Star Wars Outlaws. God, those previews, huh? Some of them. Jeez.
I mean, it's just another classic example, Outlaws, with loads of other ones, of just a horrendous piece of shit, and they used all of their money to make people say the nicest version of the nicest thing they could say, and you have to do it in underhanded ways. Can't do it overtly, and I'm so out of this world tired of people saying I wasn't paid. Oh, they didn't say like I will pay you money to say nice things. That's not what happened.
I don't know, man. You're probably obliged to say that you were flown out there, which I feel like that says something, that you have to say that. Like, that's probably not something that you're allowed to not disclose, is that you were invited to go out and play it, which feels similar to the kinds of disclosure that's necessary for advertisements in general.
Well, I mean, it's not even beneficial for them necessarily to do it that way anyway. If they sent an actual email saying, do not disclose this, but we want you to do an exclusively nice interview and we'll give you loads of money for it. It's like, no, the smarter way to do it is to pamper people and give them access
Well, again, it's
and
the same as
opportunity.
it's the same as when people say the thing like, "Oh, the company bought this review." It's like, dude, they don't have to do anything as stupid as buying a review. All they have to do is run ads on the website, invite people to
Which, remember,
events,
like,
these sorts of things, give them gift bags and all that kind of stuff.
I'm pretty sure it was, they showed me on Real BBC, John Campea was, like, flown out to go and watch Shang-Chi, and he comes out of the preview room or whatever the fuck, and he's got, like, a gift bag, and he says it was an absolute triumph, an incredible film, or whatever, and you're just like, oh, fuck off, come on. Like, you want to go back, you want to have that experience again, and this thing is probably very fun to do it that way, but, you just, I don't know, it becomes much fucking harder to be unbiased, and, I think the example, obviously, that we covered that was pretty extensive was the G-Man Lives one, where his whole audience were like, holy shit, man. It's unreal to especially because the game came out, and so people played it.
And then everybody plays, well, not everybody, but some people play it, and then they find out what it is.
I mean, dude, on launch day, people were falling through the floor. Like, how could you...
Oh yeah,
just
watching
not ready
Star
to
Wars
ship.
series early, his like early version that he got a hold of before it got that big day one patch, it was like, holy shit.
I don't even like that we're in that situation for the game industry. That like that should be considered okay. It's like, hey, yes, the hundreds of millions of dollars game came out broken, but it needed that first update. You gotta let it have the first update. Like, how do we get there? That's not good.
We got there because ground was ceded too often on these sorts of things, to the point that, again, I almost find it a bit farcical sometimes, the things that like are getting fought over in terms of like gamer advocacy, because it's like, dude, the tests were failed for the last decade. It's been nothing but failed tests. Battlefront 2 was a momentary pause, and then they figured out a better way to make money, so it's over.
Yeah.
Like, it's done. They got it. They figured it out. They won. They can make billions of dollars shipping unfinished products with fear of missing out laden battle passes that, like, charge a ridiculous amount of money for
Well, like,
a feeble amount of content.
Massive moved on. They're already on, I think, Division 3. They don't give a fuck about
they'll be on
Outlaws.
Exactly.
They passed it on to some like other team, and all the other team do. They're not planning on doing rehauls or fixes that really get them out. They just gotta anything that can be a switch can be flipped. If they can do that,
Yeah.
sure.
But not actually like substantial, meaningful because as
No.
far as they're concerned, the window for making money is
Also,
closed.
a really good example would be the I know it's been said by a couple people, but it's like I know you guys are gonna get exactly what I'm saying with this, but people will be like, oh my god, you can hold your gun now when you climb a ladder.
Oh boy.
It's absolutely just like the
That's
most
meaningless.
What the fuck, dude? Like, that's pathetic.
That means nothing.
And you know what it was? Like, so that probably was a feature, but they fucked something up, and they've managed to find the mistake and undo it. So now your gun does actually stay with you. Because I doubt they even had the time or effort to code all of that in. Like the gun stays attached, blah, 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 blah. It's probably like a, what was it called, Colonial Marine situation? Where someone fucked up something in the code and they had to
there's
find
like
it.
a single line of code that someone had fucked up, which like had ruined the AI for the game, and it wasn't discovered until later.
Yeah, because there's probably a bunch of people who were like, we did code it so that she would hang on to the gun, so it's like, well, fucking figure it out, guys, because something's wrong. And then beyond that, they're just prepping the DLCs for release, which were probably broadly done when the game was. It's all so fucking cynical. And the review sort of market that surrounds it is all just as cynical as well. And people will tell you again and again.
Not too long ago, on EFAP, the one chick, the Charlene Hazard.
Charlene Hazard, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she
Lana
was
Pierce.
talking about why you guys think that they just pay for reviews and stuff like that. And I was like, no, that's obviously not what we're talking about. You stupid idiot. And like, could you engage with what we're saying?
Well, and that's the thing in it. If she was in the call directly and you said no, they essentially pay in a much more subtle way by paying for experiences that you want to repeat, even on a subconscious level, but more than likely very conscious. And what does it cost you? Well, just play up the parts of the game that you do think are actually kind of okay. and then don't really talk as much about the negative
And then, of
ones.
course, and then, of course, you have a little bit of like, yeah, but it was a preview, so I'm not talking about the actual game. So, like, if the game turns out to be bad, then you can't really hold it against me because I was talking about a work in progress and what they showed me.
I'm
Even
gonna
though, again, essentially, you need to recognize that a positive preview is effectively marketing.
what infinitely bothers me about Outlaws and then loads of other game strategy is, remember one of the earliest levels, you need to get into some guy's office, and you can either pickpocket one of the guards, walk to the bartender to get information on the security guard to tell him something that'll make him leave, or you can bribe the security guard. Those are your three options. It's like, okay, look, I know games are way better than that, but that's something. The fact that you've got
Something.
three options there, that's cool.
If
That's
that
the
was
only time
everywhere,
it happens in the game.
okay. Yeah, that's the thing, because Cyberpunk is kind of like this, but I think in a good way, where every side mission and little gig that you can do has some sort of a narrative built into it. Sometimes, like, the narrative surrounding the mission is longer than the mission itself, but the world building is really good, so you want to actually engage with it. There might only be a couple ways to complete a mission, but they're decently well fleshed out, and every mission has 2 or 3 ways of getting through it, so you don't feel like it's cheap or just tacked on. It is about not just the amount of things you could do, but the frequency of how often. Like, if every single mission in a game that size had 2 endings of each mission that were like distinctly different, that would feel great because it was every single thing you knew would branch off at the end in some important way. Because frequency is an important factor of it. It's just that the Star Wars Outlaws
Well,
sucked balls.
I'm so much more cynical than that. It's like, you fuckers, you put this at the beginning because all the stupid reviewers would play it and be like, oh wow, the game's going to be filled with these awesome
Wow.
little quests where you can choose multiple. And it's like, nope, nope,
They really
no.
care.
They did it there, and that was it. And they fucking got you.
Because if you get past that point, they have your money. Fuck you. They've already got you.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a reason why you can't play for too long. And like Toshara, the first planet, that's clearly the one that's most finished, with Tatooine following up. But I don't think Tatooine was finished either. But like the one that was obviously least finished was that the one from Rise of Skywalker, Kajimi.
Kajimi?
Yeah.
Where
Well, it
they
was just
clearly
a city.
were going to do an
City,
open
yeah.
plan place, but they couldn't even do it in time. Like, oh well.
It could have been cool, but that doesn't mean anything. The idea of going to a planet and you only get to interact with a city, which is essentially like remind me, Fringy, the research station planet in Mass Effect 1, Novaria, was like that, right? Where it feels
Well,
like you'd go from place to place. It wasn't as open world as the other ones were, but there was like a narrative reason for it, and so they put a lot of effort into giving you stuff to do on the interiors. But
Well,
it's clearly not
'cause
what they did in Star Wars
the difference
Outlaws.
here is that it's the one that doesn't have a big. All of them have a city space, like, some sort of dense urban area, but it's the only one that doesn't have like a frontier, which just makes it notable. It's like, why doesn't this one have a frontier? Oh, because you probably couldn't finish it in time.
Hmm. They should have just made it Coruscant or something. Like, you'd think that
Too
Well,
complicated.
that's Star Wars 1313, and you probably don't want to draw too many comparisons to that.
yeah, the thing that people constantly are lamenting about that got canceled and they haven't.
Listen, you
Gotten
want
over it.
Tatooine. Everyone wants Tatooine. That's the best one.
Gotta
That's a
have
decade
Tatooine.
ago, and I'm still not over it.
Don't forget, Deadpool's Once Upon a Christmas has set the precedent of a PG-13 Deadpool film. Well, the R rating didn't
decided
fucking
to
matter, did
go-
it? As to like,
Yeah, it's still a sanitized Disney slop.
yep. Hi, Rags.
Hello.
Hi, Rackets. Would have said hi. Thing is, Ryan Reynolds will see that Disney money as kids' college fund. Maybe he'll stick to his guns, but he'll never have good reason to buckle. But he'll have good reason to buckle, sorry. Well, he did, clearly. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's fucking can say with a straight face that Deadpool 1 and 2 match 3. No way.
Clearly different movies made by a company that clearly had different decrees in terms of what is and isn't allowed to be in it. And you'll get called a grifter chud for pointing it out or whatever. It will be the cope, but it is a meaningful observation that Deadpool versus Wolverine is the only one that doesn't have a breast in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was hardly expecting anything that was going to shock. I think we said the only line
Safe edgy.
that would count as something close to that was the Blade line.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing about it is, you can interpret it two ways. Like, they could have written it just thinking about how Wesley Snipes is cool as Blade, or they actually commenting on the production hell that was Blade. It's like, well, probably the former, I guess, rather than. But I mean, you know, we get to interpret it as the latter because that is funny, and that feels more edgy than anything in the movie.
I think so, because everything else is safe edgy. Like silly gore and that kind of that's safe. You could do that in anything. It's like The Boys. The Boys is just safe edgy. They're not actually edgy.
The King of the Grift has come to bless EFAP. Is Wizard of Oz badly written?
I haven't seen Wizard of Oz in a while. I doubt it though.
I don't think so because it's very simple and there's not very much world building in it at all.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with the books. It'll probably be decently written. But yeah, I think it'll be decently written.
Psychic
Its simplicity
Pebbles,
saves it.
Psychic Pebbles has talked about it in regards with Smiling Friends, how they will just say remove it when it's almost done and will just censor stuff almost completely randomly. It's bizarre. Okay. Suppose, you know, last minute decisions and all that. On the next episode of He-Hulk, she losing control because a man opens the door for her, lol. Well. Maybe that'll be season 2. You'll love doors.
The door scene. The infamous door scene, yeah.
Drink every time Fringy interrupts somebody or mentions Simpsons. I'll see you all in hell. Wow.
Well, he does reference Simpsons a lot.
True.
I do like talking about The Simpsons.
I wish you covered Hot D without Gary, because those videos are unwatchable due to his obnoxious obsession with needlessly hinting at spoilers. Oh, come on. He tries.
Yeah.
But you have to try and remember, like, just try and picture the equivalent, I guess, would be, you could say for the Last of Us, when like how familiar certainly me and Fringy would have been with the storyline, like trying. So say for example, in an early episode, Tess is attacked by a zombie, and she fights it off. You know, me and Fringy could be like, "Do you think? No, I don't think that's going to be yet." You know, it would be something like that. And someone could be like, "Hey, spoilers! I can tell what you're trying to imply," and it's just like, "Why?" But you know, it comes up. It does naturally. I don't blame them at all.
Well, yeah. Calm down.
You know, I just try not to think too much about any given thing that he or Ryan end up saying. But it's annoying for them to not be able to talk about that while we're around. I get it. So I try to. But I know they're trying.
They're a wealth of knowledge. It would be. Imagine it how it would be, how difficult it would be for them with all the stuff that they know and the passion that they clearly have for it to not be able to essentially reference any of it, even in like this fleeting passing kind of way.
Hope you guys are having a nice week. Been replaying Cyberpunk 2077, and it's seriously in my top 3 games of all time. Cried more at the endings than any other piece of media I have ever seen.
Really? I have not got to the ending. I'm still working my way through it. I'm trying to, like, I actually feel motivated to do, like, all this stuff in the game, which will take me ages, so I'm just going through it piece by piece. Interesting. What's the side missions, for the most part, a lot of the like I had mentioned them earlier, a lot of the little side missions have made me like think and kind of consider things just as much as a lot of the more main missions have. Interesting. I guess when I get to it, I'll be able to know what you're referring to. But interesting that you have that to say.
Yeah. When Fringy dies, who gets to keep the goo? I guess it's an inheritance question.
Yeah, I think it's a trust. It doesn't go to a person. It goes to a trust that's set up in the name of every frame of pause. So
bold
like
to answer that question when Fringy's right here.
Yeah, I don't know why you would say that, Rags. You don't know. You don't know nothing.
Oh yeah, that's right. We agreed to not talk about the thing.
No, you
Okay.
just don't know anything. I've been told
Right,
that there's
exactly. We don't
no,
know anything about
there's
what happens
nothing
to
to
it. We
tell.
don't. That's
You
Fringy's
don't
right. We
know.
don't know anything about what happens to it. So if you ask questions, that's the only answer we can give is that we don't know anything. So
That's
there's
the only
really
answer you can give because it's
that's
the
right.
truth. You don't know.
That's right. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. We don't know. So
You don't know.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You don't.
That's right. We sure don't.
You sure don't.
I don't because
Next
I'm
super
part of
chat.
we and none of us know.
Didn't
Next
he
super
say he
chat.
knows? I'm so confused.
Oh my
Back all this
goodness.
crazy information. If you think naming a destructive storm after a woman is sexist, you obviously never seen gals grabbing for items at a clearance sale. Kent Brockman. Wow, that's a Kent quote? How could he? I don't remember that one. Yeah.
What? Could you say it again?
If you think naming a destructive storm after a woman is sexist, you've obviously never seen girls grabbing items at a clearance sale.
Oh, I don't remember that if that's a line that he said.
Neither do I.
I don't know why the thing that jumps out to me most is a Kim Profit thing. Like, Arnie,
Arnie Pie,
I'm
yeah.
sure all viewers want to know: is my house okay? You mean is your giant castle okay, Kent? Arnie, don't hate me for buying at the right time. When's my right time, Kent? When's my right time? God,
Is this a Simpsons
Arnie.
reference?
Obviously.
Yes. Oh, we're
Well, then I
talking
guess
about
we
Kent
have to take a
Brockman.
drink because of the. Well, yeah, I just checking.
You don't have to do anything.
Well, we do. We have to take a drink. Like the previous super chat said, whenever Fringy interrupts someone or makes a Simpsons reference, we have to take a drink.
You don't have to do anything.
Fringy, it was a super chat.
I mean, it feels weird that the British guy and the Australian guy have to advocate to the American that he should treat his freedom more thoroughly. You know, you don't have to do anything anyone tells you, man. You can do whatever you want. Break those chains, Rags. Break those chains.
All right. Yeah, sure. It feels
Whips
all
and
right.
chains.
It feels okay.
Whips and...
How did we go from whips and chains to whips and chains?
Where the fuck is Karen 2? What the hell?
Karen to Electric Boogaloo. Make it
Cyborg
fucking
Karen.
happen,
It's the
people.
most obvious way to take the fucking movie.
Did she die in that movie?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
forget.
She got shot, so that's why we need the
Oh,
cyborg.
right. Yeah, she got shot.
It's
Sorry,
so
but we can
so
bring her
great.
back. We have the technology.
Exactly. They pretend like we don't. Ragu, have you played and finished Dragon Age Origins more than once? If so, what was your preferred Landsmeet outcomes? Loghain, unalive, or alive?
Logain doesn't get to live after what he did. I can't, especially because if you forgive Logain, you lose Alistair. He will not accept being in the party if you forgive Logain. So just and you don't want to lose Alistair because he's a cool character and I really like him a lot. Because BioWare used to make a whole cast of fun characters that you actually just
Ooh, like in
wanted to be around.
Veilguard?
Exactly like in Veilguard. For instance, who were your top 3 companions in Veilguard just based off their personalities alone?
Jane.
Okay, yeah, she was pretty good, or they were pretty good. Sorry, but yeah, I can't remember enough about the Origins ending. It's been so long since I've played it. I cannot remember. My preferred ending, honestly. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. I'm drawing a bit of a blank.
Wow.
It's just been so long.
Not a real fan. Liar.
True.
Feel weird to
Hot.
pull out, yeah. Rip.
Rip
Hey
around.
boys, since work is up, I can't work on the comic as much, so it's going to take longer. Was hoping to put it out by 200, but 250 seems more realistic. Oh well, a blast from the past of a project being complete, because we're I mean, by the time... No, this one will come out earlier than others, so we're probably still on the way to 350. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
I can't believe getting to EFAP 350. That's wild.
What do we
It's unhinged.
say to the god of death? Not today. That's a good, fun Game of Thrones thing that means nothing anymore. Love you, Nick. No homo. Oh, that's nice. Hey, Rookie
It's
Law,
okay to
I
be homo,
emailed
Nick.
you a very sensitive idea this morning. I had tried Twitter, but you got yeeted. Since you aren't streaming tonight, figured I'd catch you here. Great show, y'all. Hopefully that email reached him.
Yeah.
Immortus Kang had to ensure that the variables that created him were followed without allowing for any divergences which could create a rival Kang. Well, you can flush all that, because Kang's gone forever.
He's out of here, baby.
Yep.
Bye, Kang. RL's finally here. Dope. Also, if you Dumbos do coverage for the next Mortal Kombat movie, you should get the fourth Snake. Meme-fap knows of him. Oh, and play DDLC. Oh, is that like a YouTuber, the fourth Snake? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen for the next Mortal Kombat movie. We'll probably do something similar to last time, I'd imagine. Wings quote of the day. Remember these?
I do remember
Yeah,
these.
I do.
How could I forget?
Slaps forearm. That's still a solid piece of muscle.
All the better to push down your wife with.
Oh no. How times have changed. Don Bless, the Pope has arrived. This crossover will be celestial. Mooples.
Oh, no.
I know, right?
Oh my god.
I know.
Oh no. Oh, the Pope has arrived.
Well,
Oh, I hope he's okay.
Mooplesburg, do you plan on covering Cyberpunk anytime soon? No. I don't know when I'll be fitting that into playing, even with its better reputation.
Yeah, as much as I would legitimately recommend it, it is a chonker of a game. There's so much going on in it. So it's not something you could knock out quickly.
How old are the She-Hulk writers? Depends. Chronologically, 30s. Physically, 50s. Mentally, 10s. Ah. Good to keep all these stats together, you know.
What? Well, I don't know. When I was a 10-year-old Paparino, right? And
Had
I was
better
thinking
ideas.
about like my favorite shows and stuff. Like I feel like all of my ideas were way better than the She-Hulk crap.
How could you? Placing yourself above these talented writers. All these jokes about Nick being late and gay are false. Nick's nose is always on time. The rest of him just arrives later. Oh, I see.
Why does his nose get him into trouble a lot, or?
It could be that, or it could be that it's just so big that it gets to places faster than he does, you know?
He just has a really big nose. Okay, that's how it goes.
So when a Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, going to sue these people for copyright? I hope sooner rather than later.
Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
I have a coworker who likes Thor, Cringe, and Thunder. He also likes Funko Pops. Aww. That matches, actually.
There's
really well.
there's a connection.
My headcanon, someone was sent to the poop dimension and magicked poop back as revenge, culminating in a petty poop war that escalated until Doofy Duh sealed the poop dimension and commissioned the first bathroom for wizards. Yeah.
I said petty poop dimension, like that wouldn't. Like, the petty poop dimension.
I mean, it makes sense. Why would you find that funny? It's like, why would you, it's just it follows.
No, I like it. That was a neat movie.
Yeah, Mola, will you and Drinker ever do a collab? You two are very funny with your sarcasm. Like, was this before Open Bar? Like, I can't remember. I guess so. So, you know what? I guess I could say we did indeed do. Well, I guess we've done more collabs too over time. You know. Where are we? This is projection. It's how they feel about us. Oh, this would be about the evil online haters in She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, the villain.
The
people,
totally
yeah.
not Reddit forums saying She-Hulk's not strong or pretty, and how do we kill her and stuff.
There's
Okay,
nothing
okay.
that would make Reddit more satisfied than you essentially using them as the villain in your big
Yeah.
multi-gajillion-dollar show.
Posting death threats on not Reddit on an attorney who could theoretically prosecute them all. Yeah, right. Well, I mean, you know, death threats happen all the time on the internet from idiots not realizing that they could ruin their whole lives by doing so. But at the same time, it's just like, we've argued this since the beginning. Like, this is common. You get it all the time. Fucking matter. People always do it. People did it because you killed them when sitting in a little house in Call of Duty, okay? Or whatever have you. Camping, that made people mad. And they would
Sitting
send
in a
you
little house.
little house.
In a
a
little
little,
house.
a
Sitting
little
in a little
hill.
house.
with your little claymore at the entrance, so that when they finally go, I'm gonna go get that fucker, and then you blow up, you're like, God damn it! And then they displace, and so when you go there to get them, and they shoot you from another camped spot, and you're just
From
like,
another
I'm
place,
actually
yeah.
gonna kill you in real life.
That's why
I'm so
you,
fucking
that's
upset.
why you don't do that. You know, these grudges, they're not gonna do you any
No.
favors.
The
It's
best
just-
thing to do to a camper is to let them stay in their corner of the map and get no kills for the whole match and just sit there unsatisfied.
Yeah. Or just type in the chat, hey, there's a camper here. Just don't go over there. That's the
Yeah.
thing. If you don't go where the camper is, he just sits there and he's bored, waiting for things to happen, and they don't.
Hi, Rags.
Hello.
I'm still catching up on EFAP lore. You're human. Is that a sex thing, or do they just drive the car and reach the high cabinets? Minjgurgle. Ugh, I hope that's German.
You need an ID for a lot of stuff, all right? And I don't have access to all the IDs yet. That
one
I
day.
need to do all the stuff that I like. One day, absolutely one day. But until then, I need some help, all right, legally speaking.
Have you heard of Mr. Burns, a post-electric play? It's about people trying to reconstruct the episode Cape Fear from memory after the apocalypse. What?
What?
No, I've
Trying
never
to
heard of that.
recreate Cape Fear
From memory.
episode. I mean, that's.
Sounds like
I
a very
wonder how
strange
far
but
we can
interesting
get
thing to do, yeah.
How far we can get. No, when I say hello, Mr. Thompson, and stomp on your foot, you will
Yeah.
say hello. Okay, hello, Mr. Thompson.
I love the when Homer looks down at him doing it. He's
Yeah,
like,
and
as
he
though
looks
he's like, "Why are you doing that?" Like,
I think he's talking to you. God, and I'm just imagining when they're driving over there, like, and Sacha bumps underneath the car. Ah, stupid speed humps.
yeah, no,
No, well, two against one, and that was
Two
after.
against
Oh, this coffee's too hot.
I think what makes it funnier to me, the 2 against 1, is that he might have assumed that was Maggie's voice or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And then the part when he's just at the parade, like,
Yeah.
well, surely there's nothing wrong with me, you know, laying in a public street, and then, no, not the elephants, God.
Elephant. When you die, you get divorced? Oh, I understood what this show is doing. It's going off Sims 4 logic. Now it makes sense. I guess so. Does that count as... Well, it's got a different
I
name,
guess they were
probably,
talking
right?
about the guy who keeps regenerating and
Oh, yeah. I remember him.
the guy, yeah.
There was
In order
an amusing meme
Yep.
of, like, a woman talks and he just jumps out the window. Like, that, I remember that being, like... Because that's how he does it, right? He just jumps out and slams into the ground and then gets back up because he's got regen or something.
Yeah. He jumped out the window, landed on a car, fucking probably traumatized a whole bunch of people, caused property damage.
Well, yeah. The show is fucking awful. You have to take
Show's
the
very
wins where
bad.
you can find them, okay?
True.
It's a class action divorce. Fair enough. I don't know if we've been mentioning
guess-
it. I never catch the live ones. Check out Cyberpunk Edge Runners. So good. Legit good to me. I loved it.
And it's anime, so I press X to doubt.
Oh my God.
Wow. Persecution. This is approaching Loki bad. We've preemptively ruined Secret Invasion in the Shapeshifter episode. Law, magic, fashion, social media, all wrecked. Oh, Secret Invasion takes care of itself. Don't you worry. Got no interest in being any good whatsoever.
This is no interest in being any good.
I finally got around to watching Arcane. Watched the EFAP
Ooh.
coverage. I was so happy listening to it because I could tell how happy the show made you guys. A worthy payoff for Boba Fett.
We love Arcane.
That
We
first
love it so
season.
much.
First
We would be
season, oof.
distraught if anything happened to Arcane. Okay.
It's so odd the way it ends. You'd have thought they'd made a second season, but they cut it off. That was it. No more. Which in some ways maybe works better, actually.
Hey man, smile because it happened.
I like how EFAP can get a legal consultant, but She-Hulk can't. They were never interested in that.
They didn't give a
Well,
shit.
didn't they even admit that they didn't really know what they were doing?
I just mean, like, the writers would have been more than confident. They never would have It's like I've seen enough legal shows to be able to,
and also they would have just had it's like, yeah, but it's a comedy, so like whatever.
doesn't matter.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
mean
doesn't matter.
anything. Which is funny particularly when they're stumbling into essentially like sci-fi concepts having an impact on it. It's like, if anything, that invites you to really think about it. But they didn't do that.
Two more experts. Oh, go ahead.
Well, the show was funny enough to where it was at least worth it. Their focus on the comedy was really worth it because it was such a funny show. It was just so clever.
An exceptional show that everyone thought was going to be.
People recently getting mad, like, about the idea that She-Hulk's never going to come back. Like, it's not fair how poorly she's been treated.
Yeah,
that
sorry,
character.
loser, that your shitty character and your shitty show will never happen again. Get over it.
Even though it didn't have the numbers to come back, I could have sworn that's a thing.
I mean, the thing is that what numbers would it need to, because it was so expensive as well.
Yeah.
To make, and then I mean, probably something that is like not being talked. Like, the more relevant part might just be that what's her name, like, was shitting on Bob Iger, which is probably not like a good play if you want to get more shows from Disney.
Remember Sokovia Accords were a thing and caused a civil war? People with powers were held accountable. It all went out the window with this show, and they do whatever they want now. Yeah, they annulled them.
They just don't give a shit. They do not care about that.
Nope.
It only gets referenced like once in the She-Hulk, I think, and that's it. I think it's basically the only time it's mentioned.
They only reference it to just go, like, get rid of it. It's just like, stop thinking about it. It's not relevant, okay? We shouldn't have to be the ones to say it, but I guess we are. It is a strange world indeed when some of the only IPs with successful modern attempts are Top Gun and Judge Dredd. Which IP do you think has overall sunk the lowest? Which has had the worst movie, the worst moment? Doctor Who's sunk the lowest, to the point where it's on the verge now of being officially cancelled. It was huge.
They bought it just to kill it. It's amazing. They
took a while.
They resurrected it to kill it.
You know, there was the whole... It started to degrade with Stephen Moffat being in charge, and then... Because people say, like, the first season of Capaldi's era was pretty good, but it just degrades heavily. And then Whittaker's era was horrific, and then you get the David Tennant revival stuff, which was absolutely fucking horrible, and all the viewership is just going down and down and down, even though banking on hyper-nostalgia... They basically did a mini version of what Marvel's now done, bringing back the most popular actor of this generation with the most popular writer of this generation for that IP, which is arguably the Russos as well. So it's and that didn't save it. The new 2 seasons is just crashing and burning, and now there's not much rumbling or talk about a 3rd season. And there's this approach of being kind of nice about it, but being like, hey, you know, some things go on ice sometimes. You know, like Doctor Who, that might happen. It's just like, oh shit. Well, there you go. Meanwhile, Star Trek and Star Wars and a lot of them, they keep coming back because people still believe they can make money. But Doctor Who, they've been trying for ages and it's just not working because they killed it. So that'll be my pick. But which of the IPs has the worst movie?
Worst movie?
Well, it's probably Marvel, right? Multiverse of Madness is like the worst movie.
Probably.
Like,
that'll be our safe pick, quote unquote. You'd be like, does Rise of Skywalker compete? And it's like, I mean, you know, no.
No,
like,
it doesn't. It is in a different realm of bad.
I think people find it just insane. It's like, no, just MOM is, it's like a 100,000 contradictions. It's absolutely fucking insane. It's impressive.
The worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
What about the worst moment?
Worst moment?
Worst moment.
Probably going to be whoever the most popular and influential character was who got heavily assassinated. So it could actually be Luke giving up on his family. That could be it. But there's a lot of competitors for this. You know, it'd be hard to go through them all, I'd say.
That would actually, the worst moment, that is tough to talk about because this is after our Born Again coverage, so like the single line that basically nullifies Raiden Nadim as an entire character in season 3, like that makes me upset. Like, fuck you for writing that. Like, actually, fuck you, you piece of shit. But that's just because that's one that's fresh in my mind. Of course, unfortunately, to the person who submitted their super chat about how much Arcane was great, there's a whole bunch of lines in Arcane season 2. But that's the biggest degradation in quality that of anything ever. It's so comprehensive in every way: characters, world building, and plot, and then the scale of each.
Joseph Goebbels. All right, fair enough.
Oh, he makes the baby food.
What are we? Some kind of suicide squong? Oh, because of Wong popping up. Our favorite Wong. How would you
think
recast?
We'll see Wong again?
Hopefully,
We'll see
I
Wong
mean,
again.
he's
Yeah, we'll
The
see Wong.
Wongster.
How would you recast the Princess Bride using any of the EFAP homies or FNT allies? Hello, Rags.
Hello.
Oh, sure.
I haven't seen it, so
You haven't seen the Princess Bride?
no,
Really?
I haven't actually. No.
Oh, we got to check that out. It's great.
I hear it's really good.
Classic.
It's great.
But we're dealing with a lot of potential people to play all kinds of characters here. Who would play Wesley?
Let me see.
Maybe there's some easy ones here.
And this is the cast of who? This is EFAP and
FNT, apparently.
all right.
So I'm trying to think of if there's any fun, easy ones. Who'd be Andre the Giant?
I don't want this to sound. Who would it be? Who's the biggest, brawliest strongman guy that we have?
Or who's like the most ogreish?
The most ogreish, the most multi-layered character. EFAP.me. Because so many, I need to take a look at the list. Okay. How tall is Metal?
I want to say 6 foot, I think.
That's taller than average.
You want Mel to be?
And he's
Alright, that could work. I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's bad, right? I think
that
it's
works.
decent. Let me see. Who would be? So now we can go to Wesley, or should we do side characters at this point?
I'm trying to think of who sticks out to me as like obvious casting before doing them like in order.
Vizzini is his name. The little guy.
Mm-hmm.
Wallace Shawn is the actor who plays him in the movie. Who would that be for us? That feels like, oh, who would be Vizzini?
It's funny that I'm like Mel would be. It's
Mel
like, wait, how are you casting him for?
Because he's short. Because he's not
He's
short
always-
IRL, but
yeah,
he's
he's
a
always
short
memed as
little
short.
memester. Oh, it should be Doomer. He thinks he's so fucking smart, and then he kills himself. It'd be perfect. He's the villain. He's a stupid villain who kills himself.
If it is like EFAP specific instead of involving FNT to make it a little bit more complicated, you would probably be Wesley. I think that would make the most sense. But I'm not sure about Inigo Montoya.
That's very nice. Oh, Inigo Montoya. Who would it be? What about? Oh.
Then again, you are
You'd have
usually
to
the
have,
person who
like,
gets
a
cast as the
tragic-
women. Now we're gonna have to find someone else, like an actual girl or something. Be crazy.
Inigo Montoya. What about John Graham? Do you think he fits?
I don't hate it.
Sort of straight. Yeah, I think that'd be all right.
I think he'd. I think he'd embrace it.
Do you think Az would make a good Andre the Giant?
I think he would
Even though
have
he's not
fun
as-
doing it. It's just that I'm not
He's
sure.
not as giant as he used to be.
No, but I don't know how he
But
would
he's too,
take that
like,
casting. To
gregarious,
be honest,
you know.
Any others stand out to you?
Let me see. Oh, Jay Longbone would be Miracle Max.
I mean, I would be on board with
I
that.
think
She'd be really funny.
I think she's got that goofy kind of and the laugh and just just being kind of she's a bit of a goofster. She just has the personality that I think would make her a good Miracle Max. Let me see. Who would be? Well, Olive Princess Bride is framed within a grandpa talking to his grandson.
Mhm.
So who would those two be? Who would be the Oh, that could be you. You could be the grandpa telling the story, who's framing everything, and you could be telling it to. It'd be cute if it was metal. You're telling him a bedtime story.
Mel's been
that's
cast
the
3
framing of
times
it.
though.
That would be funny though if he just showed up.
It does cover the 3 primary elements of metal now, I'm just saying.
Yeah, the giant, the goober man, and the the kid in the bed. I don't know. That's pretty good though.
Yeah, no, that's solid enough. All right, we're doing our best, and that's there you go. You got a movie right there. It's gonna be great.
Oh, Nerderotic could be the priest.
Yeah.
He talks about marriage. That could be Nerderotic because he officiate a wedding recently. He did that, didn't he? He actually did preside over a wedding. So
there you go.
He knows how to do it. He's perfect for this role for to be the recast priest.
It was meant to be.
It's perfect.
2 more experts covering media that are fun to watch: Roanoke Gaming, a microbiologist covering horror, and Fire Department Chronicles, a firefighter covering his field in media. Cool.
I've watched some of Fire Department Chronicles. He does some funny stuff.
Awesome.
I like him. I've heard of Roanoke Gaming. I don't think I've watched any of their videos.
Neither have I. They wouldn't hire a lawyer because it would ruin the funny of the writers. Logic gets in the way of what they want to do. Of course, I'd imagine that is logic they've had. They'd be like, no.
Because you know how a good comedy is really stupid, right? Like we all know that.
Yeah, it has to be stupid.
It can't be smart and funny. That just doesn't happen.
Muller, have you ever listened to the Mongolian band The Who? In HU, they did a cover of Metallica's song "Sad But True." They also did a song for the Star Wars games Sugun Asena, which is also pretty good. No, I haven't heard of them. Interesting. And then I just saw
HU. Is it? How did you spell that?
The HU, so The Who, but with HU instead of WHO.
The Hugh. Oh, dude, look at this guy. He is super Mongolian. Not to racially stereotype, but
wow,
holy
racism.
shit, this guy is like, look. He just looks super Mongolian, The Who.
You understand? I just peered over to the left of my screen when you said he looks super Mongolian, and it's just the Doritos thing. And I was like, yeah,
Jeff
man.
Keighley is they cast him to play Attila.
You must understand
because
this
John
was,
Wayne's dead, so they cast him to play Attila the Hun in the new biopic.
It just made the most sense.
He has to conquer all of Asia to find all of the Mountain Dew. His people come from the land of Mountain Dew. No, they come from the plains. Never mind. The steppes.
Where are we? Just saw Blade lost its director. Between this, MOM, and Fantastic Four, and others, I'm beginning to see a retention pattern here at Disney. Blade. Still not happening.
Any day now. Just like Rian Johnson's trilogy. Any day now, boys.
Logan is a separate timeline. No New Mutants have been born in 25 years. Lore is similar to the OG films, though, as Charles mentions, the Statue of Liberty incident. I don't know if we went over it on stream, but the X-Men timeline is fucking hilarious at this point.
Very confusing.
Cracking it is a near impossibility. If you could take anything you're good at and swap the skill level with anything you're bad at, what would you swap?
Ooh, that's a really cool question.
Well, I'm pretty good at solving a Rubik's Cube, so I would happily trade that for something that's way more applicable. trying to think of what. I don't know. I can't just choose anything, I assume, right? Because that would just be like OP if I
'Cause
chose.
it has to be something that's not too obscure that you're bad at, probably, because there's probably like basically an infinite amount of things that we're bad at, but they're just so obscure or never even like that we haven't even like done them.
Well, you know, if I traded that for fluency in like all language, it feels like a bit unfair, doesn't it? As an
Yeah.
exchange.
Um. So like I'm really good at like pogo sticks. I know that's the whitest thing I've ever said, but I'm really good at being on a pogo stick. And I always kind of have. I've just had this weird aptitude for being able to be good at a pogo stick, relative to the time spent on one. So I could probably give that up for something along the lines of, oh man. So that could be the bad one. So take a like basically swap skills. So I want to start with something I want to be good at that I'm bad at, and then take something I'm good at that I don't care about much. So I would take the pogo stick ability, and I'd maybe swap that around with oh, this is a good question that I'd want to think about a little bit. What am I
Hmm.
not good at that I would really want to be good at? That's like a skill. It would probably be something about like attention, not attention span. My big problem is that I'm like a procrastinator. So if I could do something with that where maybe I take like I like my ability to focus on something and stay motivated, I would swap that with like the pogo stick ability. Where now I'm shit at a pogo stick, but I have a lot better like ability to focus on a task, and like stick with it. Yeah. That there you go. That's an answer. Obviously, I'd come up with a better one if I thought about it more because that's a neat question. I think that's interesting. But yeah, that would be one.
Right now, I'm just trying to think about something that I'm good at that I don't care about. I'm not sure what I'd be. I don't know. Because I am trying to think about something that is like basically useless. That, hmm. It might take too long for me to think about like what exactly it would be. So maybe we just keep moving on.
Yeah, because like if you think of the possibilities, like if I was really good at like I would like to get better at cooking. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good, but I would like to be better at it. Just as an example, what could I use to like swap with it? Now I'm thinking that's a that's a neat question. Um, ooh, God, and this would change a lot for people because my mom has always talked about like she wishes she was a bit better at typing in terms of skill and just the ability to type. So like for her, that would be an interesting thing to ask her. Is like, oh, well, what would you trade out to be really good at typing or something like that? Yeah, that is an interesting question. Interesting.
Jesus, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was less corny. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one follows up and just says yes, so I think they agree.
Yes.
Did you guys see the
Mighty
Descent
Morphin.
deleted scene from... Oh, sorry, not Descent. Decent. Deleted scene from Thor Love and Thunder where Zeus and Thor talk. Scene was one of the best ones and it was deleted. Also, hi, Rags.
Hello.
No, I didn't see that.
No, I didn't.
But it makes sense. You wouldn't want to put any good scenes in that movie. It would make it inconsistent.
They would stand out like a sore thumb.
We fucked up. We put one of them in there. He broke into the prison with a sling ring, something that can destroy the universe, according to this show. Oh, whatever, man. I just don't care.
The
It's
sling
so
rings were
crazy
always going to be a problem.
to even approach doing a lore show in this universe where magic and scrolls exist. It's just like,
You would have
okay.
to lean into it super hard, but they're not willing to do that. They're not willing to
Ooh.
do that. They abandoned the Secret Invasion show like instantly. There's just no way they're ever gonna actually um like carry through with that being a thing going forward. It
Yeah.
caused way too many problems. It would be the most it'd be the thing that you'd have to account for the most more than anything else in this universe, and that is saying a lot.
That talk about Poirot reminded me of old TV show. Well, yeah. Makes sense. We even did, Haunting of Venice.
Yeah, A Haunting in Venice. Really
That
good
movie.
movie. I like that quite a lot. That ended up being quite a favorite of mine, actually.
A lot better than I was expecting it to be. I just saw it because I was like, ooh, Halloween.
Yeah, and
Let's
then
go.
Mahler recommended it to me and said, "Hey, I saw a cool movie. Let's watch it. I want to get your take on it." And it was really good.
Doctor Strange, Hulk, and Flash were my favorite heroes growing up. Now look at them, tainted forevermore.
Mm. Mm.
Wait, I'm married to a shape-shifting elf for 12 years? That sounds like a fucking movie they would make now in the MCU. I
Well, that
married
was
a
because
shape-shifting elf.
that was in She-Hulk, right?
Well, yeah. This is the She-Hulk
Yeah.
episode.
Well,
Yeah.
it's also an anime. Wait, I've been married to a shape-shifting elf for years. That's an anime that recently came out.
Probably.
Yeah. It's really bad, of course, but, you know, it's a funny name.
Racism. Hi, Rags.
Hello!
You mentioned Dragon Age. Which game/character is your favorite?
Alistair is up there in Dragon Age. I can't remember enough about the Dragon Age 2 characters. I remember them being okay, but I didn't play 2 nearly as much as 1. And I only played 1 so much. I think Morgan was my least favorite, but just his general attitude. She's not a poorly written character. I just didn't gel with the attitude. Alistair, I liked a whole bunch because he has to there's a lot of insecurity there with Duncan and wanting to live up to be the Grey Warden that he thinks he should be and things of that nature. I'm gonna default to him before I lose myself thinking too much about it. I think it's a solid answer. He's a good character, and I really like him. I like having him around, not just because he's a good tank, but because I enjoy having him around as a character.
Favorite game in there somewhere? Did I miss that?
Oh, I thought he said the favorite character from Dragon Age Origins. Or the Dragon
Yeah, I
Age
did,
games.
but they asked favorite game as well.
In the series, it'd be Origins. I've only played Origins in 2. I never
I
played
see.
Inquisition, and I did not play Veilguard.
What? Why?
Oh, I was too busy. I was
right,
too
yeah.
busy getting the completionist achievement for Outlaws, and it just takes up your time.
Yeah, makes sense. Well,
Yeah.
as long as you get around to it, because those
Yeah,
kinds of games,
absolutely.
they only come around once every generation, and gotta grab them. Gotta grab them.
That's right. It'll be a
Random-
long time until they make another game like this. That is true.
So, I guess they just wanted to let us know this. The word for day before last is yesterday, and the word for day after tomorrow is overmorrow.
Really?
Yesterday and over tomorrow?
Overmorrow.
Overmorrow. I did not know that.
I
Either-
know this either.
Overmorrow.
Neither did I.
Why didn't Roland Emmerich call the film Overmorrow?
I don't know. Idiot, I guess. Love your coverage and discussions. Just watched Age of Ultron again. Really enjoyed it. Age of Ultron versus all of Phase 4. How would you compare them on writing, characters, plot, action, visuals, etc.?
Age of Ultron is a bad movie, but in Phase 4 and 5, it's pretty high up in the rankings. Because
Yeah, it would beat out most of Phase
essentially,
4 and 5.
It would beat out the vast majority.
Absolutely. Age of Ultron has good things in it.
It does.
Yeah, I would say writing-wise, so you've got lots of pretty good character stuff, but then lots of wonky character stuff. Ultron sucks, unfortunately. Has like 1 or 2 good scenes. The plot it gets increasingly strange and then just destroyed. The action, I mean, I like the Hulkbuster fight. I think that's pretty good.
That's a cool fight.
The fights with Ultron, I just don't buy ever. Basically, he's like too shit.
Well, it's just he shouldn't have been beaten, but he
Yeah.
was an idiot. He left all of his little Ultron bots. I say but they are him. Why didn't he just make like 5 really awesome like Ultrons that would have they had a really hard time fighting like the big Ultron. Why didn't he just make like 5 of them?
You would mass produce like USB sticks with legs that basically have him on them and go and install himself on everything.
The reason why the Avengers win is because he literally had all of his eggs in one basket. All of them were there.
Well, and Vision just inexplicably has the power to pull him out of the internet.
Him from the internet? Yeah.
You can't do that. actually impossible. It would be magic to do that. Because he would be on. Imagine he infected every single computer and then all the ones that went offline. It's like he's on that drive. Ultron is alive and will be forever, or should be, but obviously we can't deal with that, so no, basically. Nick, my man.
It's the Dead Reckoning thing. We want the villain that is like this, but we are by no means ready to commit to that actually being like what the villain does.
Nick, my man, can you shout out Kiwi Farms and your boy Josh Moon? Know if you would want to or not these days. Mutually just consider teleportation power to be operating on wormholes instead of disintegrating you. That way teleporting isn't killing you. Well, yeah, but
Portals would be wormholes.
I was gonna say portals are always better. Portal tech is a way to get through a lot of that. Obviously, you need to then account for how that's going to be one of the greatest weapons ever. Portal tech, you can just chop people.
Well,
in
that's
half.
kind of what we talk about with Doctor Strange, isn't it? That the portals are like an incredible weapon. They could have chopped off Thanos' arm, presumably.
Yep. And they showed us doing that with another creature that was pretty fucking chunky and alien.
They shouldn't have shown that. They shouldn't have done that.
Oh. Lord of the Wong, The Return of the Dawn. I would watch it. Ayo, Nick, about to get deviated septum surgery. This sleep apnea is destroying my life. Chronic fatigue syndrome and being a lawyer do not mix. Oh, yeah, I mean...
Oh, well, man, I hope you can...
If that fixes it up, you know?
Yeah, I've heard that's like a real fucking pain to have that going on.
Nick hasn't watched phase 4. More than making Nick watch She-Hulk. We have such sights to show you. Oh, yeah. I think She-Hulk is a bit of a shock to anybody who hasn't been keeping up with Marvel. It's just like, what the fuck is this?
Oh yeah, imagine if you left for like 3 or 4 years and then you came back and you're like, oh sweet, I got it. Like if you were in prison or you went to another planet or something, and you're like, oh, time to catch up with my favorite shows and characters and see how they're doing.
Nick, you should review the show Suits, most accurate legal drama on TV. Trust me. Fair enough. And Rakita plus EFAP, my YouTube circle is complete. Oh well. Glad we could entertain. Love your coverage and discussions. Just watched Age of Ultron again. Really enjoyed it. Age of Ultron versus all of Phase 4. Oh, we answered that. We're all good. But I'm glad you enjoyed Age of Ultron. In fact, I think more people would if they were to rewatch it today.
Probably.
Versus when it came out, you know?
It benefits a lot from
time.
But yeah, it does. I mean, the fact that they followed it up with 749 horrifically shitty movies and shows probably helps it out a lot.
Now we're doing the Wong Boy summary. He was in the Abomination arc, wasn't he? Wong, I think. I don't remember his role in the show. Really, I don't think I want to remember anything from She-Hulk. You know, it's a bit flushed.
Fair enough.
If stereotypes are Wong, why am I always so Jeb? I don't know, but Jeb's an EFAP hero. You know, he's quite the... He's up there with Hiddle Subtleties. I think it is. This show wishes it was Ugly Betty, only Ugly Betty was charming and had decent characters. Also, 2000's Wong, A Space Odyssey. Hi, doggy.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, I mean, 2000 Wong, A Space Odyssey is a pretty good movie.
2000 Wong, A Space Odyssey is funny.
Help! My favorite grifter lawyer is late and constantly gay. So sorry. Silly Mauler, women are meant to be fridged, not objectified. No, we're not allowed to fridge anybody, which means you can't kill anybody. Ever.
This is a fridge-free zone.
Exactly. It's in that place I hid that thing that time. Oh, well that narrows it down. More men.
Is it weird is it weird when you say fridging now? I think about Maddie from Arcane now.
Why?
Oh wait, no, that's not fridging. That's just a weird thing. Fridging's when you kill off someone just as a way to
Motivate
do character
someone
development
else.
for someone else. Okay, yeah, so that wouldn't be fridging.
I mean, it's still too flimsy, I think, fridging as a concept. Because like having a character who's beloved by the main character die and it motivates him to do something. Take Uncle Ben, for example. Like, nobody's saying that's bad. and it's like, well, it's not saying it's bad. It's a trope, and it's like you pointing out it's a thing that happens in multiple things. I kind of hate tropes in the sense that there doesn't seem to be a line on where we can and can't point them out. So if I said, the superhero suits up, what a trope, it should be like, well, yeah.
Tropes should be
Yeah.
seen as what they are, which is just descriptively, this is something that happens a lot. It is neither good nor bad. It can be good, it can be bad. It depends on the actual trope. Instead of, oh, it is a trope, therefore it is bad, which I do not like.
In episode 1, She-Hulk said she's great at controlling her anger when incompetent men explain her area of expertise to her. Do you think they explain it to her because she's crap at her job? Yes. And she's also terrible at controlling her anger, which I guess the show wanted to say was part of the point. I'm not really sure. But what are you going to do?
She's also terrible at being a lawyer, too, so she's bad at her job. So, there's...
Moreman, which
There's
league
that.
champ do you main normally, and which one is your favorite design champ? Hella Frong, Lawman, and High Rags.
Hello!
Both answers would be Victor. Certainly before the rework, before Arcane Season 2
Oh.
poisoned him. He was
Did
probably
they
my
ever
favorite.
go back on any of that?
No, but you can mod it, I guess, so there's that. Which is sad.
Okay.
But there we are. He was just really cool. Would have been cool to see him in Arcane Season 2 instead of what the fuck they decided to do. Sad, but yes. Still probably my main, but I guess I have to use the new skins now, woohoo. Think about this. How does a lore show written by people who admittedly know nothing about lore even get approved? Matt Murdock is going to be in this. Oh, you sweet summer child.
He's going to be in this and more.
Isn't that crazy? It's like, oh, well, we paid with She-Hulk, we paid with Echo, we paid with Hawkeye. Now we get Born Again. Arguably the most damage, even with the three of those put together, so... Yay! And with that, that's the last message. So, thank you all for sending those in. Appreciate it. And sorry this was even later than our usual, but it's all sorted, and we appreciate every last message. And we shall see you in the next thing that we do, whatever it may be. But for now...
That's right, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you later, everybody. See ya.
Bye-bye.